many of you would love to glow up and look fantastic. Well, today we have an expert. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she will tell you all about how you too can glow up with gut healing. Now, whether you know anything about your gut or not, you are going to learn something very important today. So, Merlee, please tell us, what does it take in order to glow up with gut healing?
Okay, Lily, thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me the opportunity to speak on my subject, which I'm so excited about. Gut health is the number one, because without your gut health, everything else doesn't work. So, for instance, let's just go through, can we go through a few things that could affect? And then, so people that are suffering with high blood pressure, and we've actually got 58% of people being affected with high blood pressure. Then we've got number 2, high cholesterol. 47% of people have high cholesterol. Then there's heart disease, and it comes up at 29%, but actually, I think nowadays that's probably a bit higher, what with COVID and the vaccines and everything. Now, diabetes, 27% of people are diabetic. And the last but not least, number 5, kidney disease, 18%. And this can be linked back to high blood pressure. So what are we saying here? The gut, the colon, is 5 feet long and it's 2.5 inches in diameter. And ever since you stopped drinking mum's breast milk, that organ has been coating with foods that you cannot break down, foods that your body just doesn't work with your system. Because as you know, some people aren't good with gluten, some people aren't good with sugars. So all it does, it coats. And as it coats, the body becomes quite constipated with this years and years of buildup. And to tell you the truth, Lily, so many people are going around and they are totally dehydrated. Now, just think about it. If you've got that amount of undigested waste sitting in the gut and it's coating 5 feet of colon, what's going to happen long term? All of those things that I spoke before, high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, diabetes and kidney, all of that will become affected, because guess what? It's like having a bin in your kitchen that you just keep on filling and you never empty it. And so many people are constipated nowadays, and they wonder why they feel sluggish, why even mental health in a sense, because it can make you depressed. So for me, if you're having 3 good healthy meals a day, you should really have 3 bowel movements. And most people are having 1 bowel movement every 3 days. So when we back up here, can we see what's going on? How is one going to glow when there is so much congestion sitting in the gut? So under that umbrella again comes even stroke and respiratory conditions that happen. And you're going to be thinking, oh my God, all this because the gut is not functioning right. But the gut and the brain is on the same meridian. Meridian meaning if you go to Victoria Line to get a train, you want the train that's going to connect to High Barnet. It's on the same line, right? So I'm just putting it basic here. The gut and the brain is on the same meridian. So when the gut is congested, guess what, Lily? The brain is congested. And if the brain is congested, how can you get up and feel vibrant, feel like you want to exercise, feel like you want to have a great breakfast of fruit or maybe juices? You're going to get up and just feel so depressed and so down. You're going to grab the nearest thing that is not a healthy thing. Because guess what? The gut is ruling how you're thinking. Yeah? So, yes.
So what's the impact of, let's say, not eating well on our glow? Would you say that it makes us look really horrible. It makes us think really horrible thoughts.
Well,
And it gives us like this acne or, terrible skin conditions. And overall, when you feel depressed, I imagine that you also look worse, right?
you're on point, Lily. You don't make the effort to do anything because you just don't, you can't think straight, as they say. You don't feel that vibrancy. You don't want to work out. You don't want to make yourself look good. And actually, what does start to happen, which is the point you've just raised, the skin starts to suffer. So you see people and they start to look very ashen. They have the dark circles around the eyes. Bad breath is a major one when it comes to bad eating. And of course, fat. You just find that you're just putting on fat and you can't shake it off very well because it's relating back to the gut and the storage of toxins sitting in the gut.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so then the opposite is that to glow up, we need to have the right foods for gut healing. And what would that look like? What steps do we need to take to get there?
So before we even talk about the food, let's talk about the rehydration of the body, because most people are dehydrated. And our bodies is 75% of that good, clean water. So if your body is 75% of something, but you don't put it in and it goes below, so now say, for instance, you're on 45% of that, not only are you going to find that you're going to get headaches, you're going to feel tired, you'll feel lethargic, you'll be very moody, because you need the water for the kidneys, you need the water for the heart, you need the water for the bladder, you need the water for everything that those organs need to function. So lack of them can only put your body under stress and put you really in a really bad place. So you talked about what good things to eat. I would say, and because I work a lot around the blood group diet, you probably don't know this, but there are 4 different blood types. There's O, there's AB, there's B, and there's A. And each one has a different food requirement. So for instance, if you're an O blood group and you eat lots of dairy, lots of gluten, lots of wheat, you are going to feel dreadful, because guess what? There are lectins and proteins in there that your gut cannot handle. And what it ends up doing is giving you something called a leaky gut, where particles of food start to fall through into the gut walls and create tiny little mesh holes, a bit like a net curtain. So if you're eating food like that, you're just going to become really sluggish, really unwell, and guess what? Totally constipated. So for that blood type, I would say that you're going to need fresh vegetables. They're normally the blood type that needs protein, animal protein, so meat. I'm not here to be kind of and say all vegan things that, no, we need animal protein as well, but good, clean animal protein. So animals that are brought up in a biodynamic way of farming, not animals that are cooped up, not animals that are fed antibiotics and all these other horrible things that they feed the meat with and inject. I'm very fortunate, I must say, that where I live, all of the meats and all of the food source that are protein grows that way. So when you get a chicken, it looks like a chicken, it tastes like a chicken, because it hasn't been stressed, it's been running free. The eggs are nice and clean because, again, they're coming from an animal that's well fed and running free.
Oh, wow.
Now, another thing, so just to not do the whole blood group thing, because there are 4 and there are many aspects, but let's just be a little bit general here. Why not make a beautiful smoothie? Just get yourself some lovely fruits and vegetables that you know you can tolerate. Put it in a blender, make yourself some apple juice or celery juice, add it to that, and just blend it. You would be surprised at how filling and nourishing that is, because it's got all the minerals, all the fiber, all the water that the body will need. And guess what? It digests so quickly. Within 20 minutes, you've got nutrition in your body. Now, if you was to get up and make yourself toast with Marmite or toast and cheese or toast and eggs, it's a completely different thing because that's more drying. There's no liquids there. And guess what? Say you had that toast for breakfast and all the eggs, and then you were drinking behind it orange juice, which is a lot of people's breakfast. You are going to destroy the enzymes that you need to actually break down the bread and the eggs and everything else in the body, because you should really avoid eating and drinking at the same time. This is why. When you go to eat food, the hydrochloric acid in the stomach needs to be high enough at 3.5, so that when you start to chew with the saliva and everything, as it goes down, it will start to break it up. So imagine you've lit a fire and that fire's blazing really well. And then what you do halfway through, you get a glass of ice water or an orange juice and you pour it on the fire. It starts to smolder down. That's what starts to happen within the digestion. And once that starts to smolder down, that's where a lot of people get into trouble, because they will overeat or they will become very gassy, very bloated, and simply not feel well after the food, because the food has not had time to break down enough in the digestive system in order to really work well in your body. So some people wake up in the night with something called GERD, which is like an acid reflux. So the food is not digested, it's swimming around in water, and it takes longer to go down. So there again, we're looking at after the age of 27 to consider taking digestive enzymes with the meals. And digestive enzymes will help to break down the particular food. So for instance, if you're going to eat protein, take protease before you actually eat the meat, and it will help to break it down, because most meat eaters, especially if people nowadays, they like their meat rare and everything else, it takes about 48 hours to leave the digestive tract. So if you're already constipated, can you see what's backing up there?
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to get that lovely glow?
Yes, that's a really good question, because, for example, if you're a speaker, an author, and a coach, or even if you're an employee, you still need a lot of energy to go through your day as an entrepreneur. So the question is, what should you be doing instead of, doing what you just said, to have this, orange juice and bread and so on? What should we do instead that would ensure that, let's say we're speaking every single day, or we have a packed day? What should we do to make sure that we get the right nutrients so that we don't look sluggish? Because as a speaker, the last thing you want to do is look sluggish.
Absolutely.
And look horrible, especially in a way you're selling your image, right? You're supposed to have super high energy so you can energize the crowd. So how are you going to do that?
Okay, so how you're going to do this is not look at breakfast cereals. That's dead food. Anything in a packet that you've got to add, that is dead food. So have you ever thought of doing a nice bit of salmon with some broccoli, with some carrots and stuff for breakfast? I say that to people, they go, oh no, because that you can't eat that for breakfast, because they're so used to thinking that they've got to get up and have something out of a packet. Why not make yourself a beautiful omelette with spinach or with cabbage? And there's so many things that you could make that's a protein that's going to really keep you for the day. Then wait about 30 minutes and have yourself a drink of some sort. But that breakfast, I promise you, that's going to hold you through the day. Another breakfast that's really got a good glycemic hold is oats. So make yourself some lovely oats porridge, gluten-free, so it's not so slimy, and then add some soured yogurt on the plate. Sprinkle some chia seeds and sprinkle a few of the nuts that you can eat on top of that, all grated up, because you're looking for protein, you're looking for minerals, you're looking for something that's going to last you. when you eat a breakfast like that, remember again, wait at least 30 minutes before you have liquids, because that's quite a lot starchy wise in the body, and you need your own digestive juices to break that down, not just wash it down, because that could make you not feel so great.
Okay. And if we were to choose something like a smoothie to replace the breakfast, what kind of smoothie should we have so we can glow up? Because I've noticed, for example, sometimes my mother comes over and she makes these juices and she doesn't agree, but I ask her to make the juices, and I do feel like my skin is getting better at least every time I do these kind of juices. And I sometimes use spirulina and I think it's called wheat. I'm not sure if it's wheat
Right.
yeah, wheatgrass as well. So I do like a smoothie with that. So I'm not sure if that is that a good thing to have, or what do you recommend to have as a smoothie?
Right. Smoothies are fine as long as we're not going to go too sweet with those smoothies. So, for instance, a great smoothie for the morning is celery, apple, pear, and pineapple with a bit of ginger. That is superb. And you can also take some of that in with you. However, if you wanted a more starchy, one that's going to maybe hold you even longer, then you could do avocado. You could do a banana. Again, put a pear. And why am I saying pineapple? Because pineapple has an enzyme called proline, which helps to break down fats. And in the avocado, which is it's a good fat, but you just want to break that down a little bit. Add some water to that, zhuzh it up, and you've got a meal there, really.
And what about if we are already constipated and, depressed, and we have already all the, we've already done all the bad stuff. So how do we go from all the bad stuff to kind of revamping everything that we're doing so we glow up and we clean and heal our gut?
So I would say do a 3-day, I'm calling it a fast, but it's a 3-day preparation. Firstly, on day 1, to just drink warm water on the hour. Take this might sound, but it works. Drink warm water on the hour until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then make yourself a vegetable kind of broth type of soup. So what you do, you get a series of vegetables and you boil those vegetables. So you could even do that overnight. Take the vegetables away, add some Himalayan salt to the liquid that's left, heat that up and just sip that throughout the day. It's absolutely delicious and it is full of minerals. Now, the next day, start off with the soup, not just the water. Start off with the warm soup. Do it back ways, the other way round, and then end your day with a beautiful smoothie. I promise you, you will go to the toilet. You probably even go before the end of the evening, because why? The hydration that your gut has got with everything else that you've taken in that starts to soften the fecal waste. Something would really have to be going on for you not to be able to eliminate. But then again, Lily, I don't know if you know this, but I really believe in enemas. And enemas is not a colonic. It's something completely different, something you do for yourself in your bathroom with a 2-liter bag. You can buy the bags online and they tell you, how to use it. But I'm telling you what to put in it because it really is my thing. Just get the bag, put 2 liters of warm water, warm body temperature water in the bag with a little sprinkling of Himalayan salt, just to make the water ionic. The rest comes with instruction so you can do yourself. What I would suggest though, do not take the whole 2 liters, because if you've never done an enema before, you're not going to be able to hold it. And you really do need to hold it for at least 12 minutes and then just get up when you feel the urge, sit on the toilet and let that first part out. Do it in 3 goes. I absolutely promise you the results will be phenomenal and you will just feel amazing, because the backup of all of that in the gut will just gives it, what would I say, a push just to get all the old material out. Now, if you did that alternate days, just again with the Himalayan salt, there's many other things you could put into an enema bag, but I'm keeping it baby steps here because I don't want to scare anyone. So with the Himalayan salt, you're remineralizing. The body recognizes the Himalayan salt because 85% of the minerals in that was in the amniotic fluid when we were babies inside of our mothers. So because our body recognizes it, it's going to want to hold on to that ionic liquid much more than if you was to use, say, a coffee enema, which is really, really popular. But if you're not used to coffee, when you put it in, within seconds, you're just going to want to rush to the toilet. You're not going to be able to hold it, which is why I'm saying start off with a little pinch of Himalayan salt in your 2-liter bag and do those enemas every other day. It works.
So can I ask you, because I know you've won, awards for your work, and you've had, how many thousands of clients that you've worked with that you've helped with these specific conditions with gut healing and, doing liver cleanses and detox cleanses and so on. And I know that you have a retreat. You have actually 2 retreats, right? You have one in Beechcraft and you have another coming up in Jamaica as well.
Yes.
So I'm really curious about the steps that your clients would go through on each day of the retreat, so
Yes.
they could get to a particular result, whether it's gut healing or whether it's a liver cleanse, or what kind of results do people get at the end of the retreat?
So I'm going to give.
Steps do they go through to get?
Okay. I'm going to give my age away now, which are not good. I've been doing this, Lily, for 45 years. So the results that I get from my clients is all there. I've got tons of them on my website. Now, when people arrive, first of all, I would have done a phone consultation so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Then when they come, they have an hour's consultation with me. Sometimes I will test them to see on a little device, a machine that we have, just to check the whole body to see exactly what's going on in the body. So that way, it is not a one cap fit all, it's a bespoke program for that individual. They're then shown to their room, which is a lovely space, which there is shared accommodation. It depends. If friends come, obviously they're very nervous. They've never done a liver cleanse before. So it's good to have them in together. And it starts off always, Lily, with hydration, bone broth, or vegetable broth, depending on how we're going. Then all the foods that we use here is biodynamic, it's beyond organic. Plus, we cook in non-toxic cookware. All the cookware is titanium. Because if you're coming to detox, the last thing you want to be cooking out of is aluminium pots or non-stick, because they're going to put metals in your food. So I am really super fussy, not only with the cooking utensils, but even the water we use. We have true water plumbed in. We also have grander water. These waters are pristine with very, very little toxins in the water. We also use distilled water for some patients with more degenerative states of illnesses. And then on day 5, we build up we teach a lot. So there's lots of teachings about the body. We do beautiful walks in the woods and in the forest. We have teachings on how the body works, because you'd be surprised. Some people have no clue. So I go from oral all the way down to the bottom, because oral health is one of the major keys for bad stomach issues. People not chewing properly because they don't have their back teeth, or they just don't go to the dentist, do any hygiene, and that stagnant waste ends up in the stomach and can cause problems. So they get to learn everything. They have a journal. I buy them all a journal, and each day they journal their work. We also have a silent day, Lily, because what I've found is that people are so used to blah, blah, blah on their phone. And every day at 7 o'clock, where we meet in the meditation space. And in fact, nobody speaks to anybody first thing in the morning. It is a rule here. And I know the word rule might scare some people. So it is a suggested rule, because those who don't want to come into the meditation space, they're very welcome to go out. I've got beautiful grounds here, 2.5 acres. They can go out and have a walk. But the point of that morning silence is to just get the body back into a balance where you know that you're here, why you're here, and you're not on the phone texting, you're not in the blah, blah, blah of looking at WhatsApp and everything else. Other than, because if your mind is into that, how can you be ready to do something that's going to be really, really major? It's like, if I was you were coming in for boxing and I was your trainer, I'm going to be tough on you because I want you to win the fight. And day 5, when you take the solution, which I cannot tell you, it's Beechcroft top secret, to actually move the gallstones out of the liver and gallbladder, you've got 2 hours to drink the solution that I make. And then you go to bed with a hot water bottle on the side of the liver. And that day, for the whole day, all you're doing is processing. And I cannot tell you the amount of stuff that comes out of the gallbladder and out of the liver. It's, as I say, on my website, the testimonies are there. It's hard for me to speak for someone else, but there's enough speaking there for what people have benefited from coming to do the liver gallbladder flush. One lady collapsed on her honeymoon with gallstones, and she was recommended to come to Beechcroft. And when she arrived, she wasn't in a good way, and they'd done all the scans and everything, and the stones, this is from the hospital that they did the scans, and the stones, some of them were the size of golf balls. They were massive. So I knew that I had to take her through the process a little bit differently from the others, because I had to give her copious amount of enzymes, copious amount of bicarb and various other things to soften the stones enough that when they're coming down the portal vein, coming out of the gallbladder, we weren't going to get a stone that's stuck. Because Lily, I've had so many people call me from worldwide that have done their own personal liver cleanse or gone online, looked up a recipe, and stones have got stuck. And they come back and ask me what can they do. Unfortunately, usually they end up having to go to hospitals to have their gallbladder removed, because once the stone gets stuck, it's very hard to save the organ. So anyhow, back to this lady. She comes, I take her on, and we do the whole process. And the jars, I'm not kidding, everybody gets a jar on the day so that they can actually collect the stones. I know this might gross you out, but they collect the stones from the colander that goes into the toilet so that they can see exactly what's coming out, and it's not just sitting in the bottom of the toilet and they can't really see it. I encourage them to take photos of everything that comes through so that, you know, we've got a catalogue and we can see. Anyhow, I've got her in my album here, and next time you come round to see me, I will show you physical evidence of this. Long story short, she goes back to the hospital with the jar, with the evidence, and they look at it and they're not quite sure what she has in the jar. Remember, these are medics. And they're very concerned, and they're like, well, what is this? She says, I've done a gallbladder flush and this is what's come out my gallbladder. So you took pictures before, so if we can look at the scan again. And when they took it again and looked at the scan, the doctor turned around and said, well, maybe we made a mistake with your scan. Maybe we made a mistake, because how does she do this method? Because we don't know this method. We just know that you remove the gallbladder if it's got stones in. So that's just a little testimony there from me from the speciality that we do here in Beechcroft, and that we are the only bespoke UK retreat that does these liver detoxes. I'm proud to say.
And for the retreat that you're doing in Jamaica, does it have a similar process? And are the clients going to experience something similar there?
No, because as you will learn when you interview Aishiba, she's more into the Kemetic yoga side, the Alexander technique and stuff like that. And we didn't feel this time that I wanted to take such a advanced process to Jamaica with the people that we were wanting to come. So I still want to keep it that it's a speciality here at Beechcroft for now, until we kind of build up a clientele that gets to know us a bit more, that feels that, well, they could actually do that process abroad. I've done it in France, I've done it in Nevis, I've done it in St. Kitts. So I've done it abroad, but not with combination with Aishiba. This is when I was working solely doing retreats with the other partner that I was with. So it's not that it's never been abroad, it's just that this trip is not in Jamaica.
And what's the impact in terms of the glow that the clients are experiencing and how they're feeling? And, you know, do they have more energy? Do they have more beauty? How do they?
It's the difference between night and day. That's why when they arrive, I take the pictures. Day 3, I take another picture. And when they look at themselves on day 7, and I say, can we just go back and look when you arrived? It's a completely, apart from the huge weight loss.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the activities that you'll be doing at the Jamaican retreat, what will be different? What kind of steps will the clients go through? And what results can they get in order to kind of glow up and be, you know, feeling better and heal their gut? And like, what kind of activities will you be doing there?
We will be taking them down to the sulfur springs, Dun River Springs. They will be having massages down in the cave. The retreat center that we've got is right by the sea. So every day they will be down by the sea. There will be different types of massage, different types of work that they'll be doing with Aishiba when it comes to the Kemetic yoga. And let Aishiba explain about the Kemetic, because it really is her thing. And in the evenings, I will be giving lectures on health, my most favorite bit. And there will be just so much variety. I think just being in Jamaica is kind of enough of a wow for people, because the weather is hot all day long. The evening cool, we'll be making campfires, sitting by the fire. We'll be doing lots of stuff with buddy systems and sharing and getting people to open up, because you know what? Sometimes with our health, we just need to know that we're in a safe environment and we can actually open up to others. So there'll be a buddy system where people can have that facility where they can just go and offload, and right by the sea and swimming every day. It's going to be like mama taking you to the beach every day with beautiful food. The hotel is stunning. There is golf courses there. There is tennis courts. There is, you know, we can go out on the boat on day trips. I mean, just tons of it. And as I say, because Aishiba, she's the one that is more doing the Jamaica trips. So she has much more to tell you all about how you glow from just being on that trip in Jamaica. My glow is from the gut, from the inside out. So that's why I say to people, no matter how much makeup, how much things you're going to put on your face, clean the gut and watch the glow.
I love this. Okay, perfect. So for all of you watching, all you have to do is to hydrate, eat well, just like Merlee was saying, so you can glow up with your gut healing.
Absolutely. And more cognitive happiness in the brain. So you're going to get up, you're going to go for that run, you're going to hit the studio and exercise. You're going to drink more water because why? You feel fantastic.
That's